I took a few trades today. Let's see what happened. So, as we're going through this, I'm about to take a trade, and I'll show you what I was looking at. There's going to be a large number of sellers coming in here shortly. Again, we're doing a mean reversion trade as well for this one, just like the one previously.
Order
And
filled.
here goes the entry. Putting my stop below the low. Just a little bit away from the low. Risking 280 for 500. So looking for at least more than one risk to reward. And although it's not gonna, unfortunately, on my part, the selling was so strong that it took me out. So let's just take a look and see what happens here. Of course,
Order filled.
took me out. So now we're gonna go ahead and go into the next trade. It doesn't happen until a little bit later. As you can see, that there's a lot of strong selling here. A lot of push to the downside. So I'm just waiting for confirmation of trying to get in again. Still sticking to my plan. Still waiting for large numbers of sellers to come in, which they don't end up showing up to 640. So we just sit here and wait normally. So we're currently down 286.20 cents out of the 400
Order
we made
filled.
yesterday. So here I take another trade here. Try to take the reversion one more time with 5 contracts. Risking 307 with 50 cents. Those little beeps you hear, it's a volume alert. So normally that'll let me know when there's 1,000 volume going on, and then there's another one for a different amount. But so 307, 50 cents. Didn't really move anything from there. If it's gonna take it out, it's gonna take it out. I was looking to see if it was gonna work out, and of course that did not end up working out for me.
Order filled.
Took me out for the second time. And so we waited a little bit more again. Try to put a stop order here to try to get it filled. If it went above this, then I could say that sellers are losing control and definitely going back to the VWAP. But as you can see here, so far I haven't taken anything out of the ordinary, no out of the ordinary trades. So far everything has been in line with the mean reversion plan that I have. But as it goes, you'll see here that it doesn't fill me. This will be trade number 3. It just keeps going down. So this is telling me that there's just a lot of strong selling. And as it keeps going, I'm still trying to stick to my strategy, right? So even though there's a large amount of selling, I'll still try to take the reversal. So since I noticed it didn't touch my entry, I'm going to remove that. Now the green lines, the bottom one where it's at currently, that's the previous day's high. And then the other one on the top is the current day high, this overnight high.
Order filled.
Okay, so this is my 4th attempt to try to take that reversal. And after this, obviously it doesn't seem like it's going to reverse again. I'm trying to reach the VWAP. I have the VWAP here at 30.83. So trying to take 5 to go up. Again, 4th trade. This will put me, right now I'm minus 608. So this would put me pretty far lower than what I risked yesterday. And so far I'm up 292, 305, 312. This was actually a good reversion trade. But as you can see, the sellers are still very strong on this, not allowing price to move down further. So at the moment I see it come back into my entry, I start to doubt whether it's going to continue going back up or not. This session ended up being somewhat of a range bound session between yesterday
Order
and
filled.
previous day. So there you go. Took me out again for the 4th time. So now what do? I'm down to 948 with 60 cents. And how do I come back from this? Well, the obvious thing would be take another reversion trade. So let's see if it works out. So let's we're gonna take a look here shortly. So right here, let's go back one just a little bit more. So right about
Order
here,
filled.
I go in for another reversion trade. But this time I go in with 1 contract. So instead of going in with the full size, because I'm already minus $900, I go in with 1 contract, risking $500. And then as soon as it starts going my way, I'm going to go ahead and add, because it's going my way. It should continue going up. Originally, I was normally risking 5 contracts, and that's what I'm going to do. The limit is 5 contracts, 5 micros. So even if it doesn't go my way, I'm only willing to risk 500 at the most per trade. So I'm moving my take profit up or down to the VWAP because that's my target. But let's see where we can go here.
Order filled.
So here I start to add another one. And if I see as I see it go
Order
up
filled.
again,
Order
adding
filled.
another one. It's at,
Order
we're at 4
filled.
now. We're at 5. We're at full size. Now we're gonna trail our stop to go down to the low here. And now it shouldn't go up below this if it's gonna be a good reversion. Because I'll show you in just a moment what I was looking at the other charts. And so it starts to come back down. It shouldn't come below that low. There's a high volume area there, a lot of accumulation. Now I'm basing the buys or the reversion based off of the weekly chart. The weekly chart has been positive. The hourly chart looks like it was trending downwards but I mean I was trying to take the highest time frame possible here for the move up. So it starts to go up my direction. Still up 5 contracts. So you start to accumulate again here, consolidate. So this was a good mean reversion trade. Now that was out of the 5th one. So I tried 4, the 5th one worked. And it's the one time I sized smaller because I didn't want to get taken out so quickly. And so as it goes, the only thing I'm thinking here is, okay, so when do I move to break even? I already reduced risk to 357 to the next high volume area because it's far away enough where I can start reducing risk. So now it's reaching the VWAP. So now here, as soon as it reaches the VWAP, the thing that crosses my mind is, okay, as soon as it reaches the VWAP, I'm going to go to break even. So that way I reduce all risk, and if it comes back down against me, then it comes back down against me. I'm already at a loss, but at least I want to try to capitalize as much as I can on this. We're up $600 here so far. What I'm doing here is I'm going to end up trailing it pretty close. So I'm going to release it there at break even. So I'm going to try to trail it as close as possible, just so that way I don't lose any profits on this below a high volume node area, which is that little area where
Order
it is.
filled.
And of course, it wicked me out. Just quick out. And so that was one good trade. So I took one good trade. Now we're minus 444. Now, as I look at this trade as it's developing in real time, I start to notice that because there's been so much selling, I'm going to take a sell. I'm going to take the opposite of what I normally would take. I would take a VWAP trend trade down, trend continuation. Now for this one, I'm just looking for high volume push towards the bottom. Let's see how this played out for me. Okay, so here we saw it come back, test VWAP again. So now we're looking, okay, well, let's see. We waited a little bit before taking another
Order
trade.
filled.
We're gonna go in with one again, just to be on the safe side, not risk too much. So we're only risking the high there. It's $133. I'm going to move the brackets that I have at 500 to go to the low. Ideally, what I was looking at here was there was a large amount of liquidity at the bottom. So I was trying to target that liquidity at the bottom because I didn't see any other liquidity at all up at the top area. So my thought was, okay, well, it only has one way to go. The only way that there's inventory or places where you could buy or sell was at the bottom, and it continued to show at the bottom. So I wanted to take that at the bottom for a sell. And as you see here, I added another one as it kept going down. Again, my stop is way up there at the high. Minus 259, risking. Let's see what happens here. And so what I'm doing now is I'm starting to put some stop sells. So if it starts coming back down my direction, right now it's going against me. But if it starts coming back down this direction, below this volume node area where my entry was, then I want to be bigger because it's going to confirm for me that it wants to come down. Again, the lines that are there, it's right now hitting the VWAP, and there's the 50 EMA right above it now. I'm starting to put some profit targets here. So if it comes back down, I want to get taken out one by one in each of these little areas. I would reduce half my size if it were to come down this direction. This is the thing about the NQs, is that they move so much that with even small size, it's pretty significant. So here I just removed one because I started getting near my entry, so my exit. So I took off and I closed everything else. Again, luckily I was sized in small enough where I wasn't at risk of losing a lot more. And so I started seeing it come back down. I'm like, okay, well, it stopped me out. I took out the high, trying to analyze to see whether it's going to continue coming back down. If it comes back down below the VWAP, I was thinking about getting back in. So let's take a look at what happened here. So now we're at minus 687 with 28 cents. Originally we're at minus 900. So back down again. Now ideally I don't want to take this many trades. Ideally I just want to take one trade and just leave it at that and call it a day. But this day, it's one of those days, you know, like you see the setup come up more than once, so you take it. For this one, I just didn't go my way. So let's take a look. You can start to see price continue to fall here. And so for me, that's telling me that, okay, that there are no sellers there. I start to see no buyers there. I start to see no buyers coming in at all. So it starts to go below VWAP, so I start to take a trade there. Again, I took it with one. So now I have to move my bracket orders that I have. And I'm going to try to keep it above that last high. Again, aiming for that low. My thesis is still that it's going to come down, which it starts to heavily drop. So I start to add very quickly to this trade. It drops very quickly because, and then I'll show you shortly that it's going to show a big order of sellers here. So I want to make sure that it holds this area. I'm risking 720 on this. So if it goes against me, then that sort of is my day for the day. So that might have been a little bit risky to add so quickly after that emotional dump. But luckily it holds, and you start to see it dump a little faster. Again, I'm trying to aim for the bottom. There's liquidity, which I'll show you shortly what I was looking at. There was liquidity down there, and by liquidity I don't mean the highs and the lows. There was a bunch of limit orders down at the bottom that there were nowhere else, and those did not move for the entire session, so somebody was trying to buy down lower. And so now you start to see the trend start to go down. And so I start to get a little worried just because it started to retrace and go up, like it wanted to go back up. So I didn't want to take any chances. And so I start to put orders there, so that way as it goes down, it starts to take me out of my position size. And at least that way I can capitalize on taking some profits as it's going down, leaving me with maybe 1 or 2 contracts left to try to catch a runner. And so I'm not moving my stop again. I'm not touching that yet. As far as me having been trading NQ or MNQ, I traded NQ when I first started, but now I changed to YM, and YM was very good to me, and I changed back to NQ because I wanted to. I didn't feel like YM was providing a lot of momentum, so I was trying to get into the NQs back again to try to trade that momentum. I don't know if that was a good thing or if that was a bad thing, but definitely so far it's been going good, I would say, at least. Understanding the way it moves. So here I get taken out with 2 contracts. Immediately after that, I start to look at locations for my stop placement. So it just depends. For me, I wanted to go to break even, but my hesitation was, what if it goes back up and just takes me out? I mean, so I left it above one of the high volume node areas, and so now I start to chase the limit order to try to remove another one off as it's coming back up. I don't want it to go too far back up, which is going to take me out again. So I'm at break even essentially at this point. So if it takes me out at $20, then it takes me out. I'm still at minus 442 at this point. The low is way down there at the bottom where my target originally is. I kept messing with my profit, and so I shouldn't have moved it so much. And so here shortly you start to see a lot more sellers start to come in. It does come back up, but the sellers do start to come in and very aggressively at that. And so again, it's at one of the highs that I had here, previous day's highs. So that's what I was looking at, and that's where it's currently bouncing from. And you'll see here shortly that it's going to end up taking me out.
Order filled.
So it took me out. Break even. Everything else has been removed. So now we're at minus 423 with 48 cents. Do I stop here? Do I stop here? No, I don't stop here. So I take another trade. Well, I think this is what our 5th, 6th trade here. So again, with the same thesis that the reversion trades were not working at the very beginning, and so now the selling is starting to come back in, strong like at the very beginning of the trading session. So my idea now is definitely going to reach that liquidity at the bottom. So I'm going to wait to see if it comes back to VWAP, and if they can reload at VWAP or anywhere there, then I want to go ahead and take another sell. I know we're minus 423. We just recovered $500 almost from this already. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so as you can see here, the trade ended up going back up a little bit more, but it didn't fully retrace. So I started going below the EMAs. So now, again, I'm going in with one micro contract for another sell. I am going to add on this trade, and you'll see very shortly. And so the reason why I add is because I start to see large clusters of sellers start to come in again. There was already a lot of heavy selling, and so I see another big push to try to push the price down. And so that's where I start to add in here. It's not there yet though, so now we're minus 25 bucks. Again, we're starting small, trying to build to it. I have not been successful at this starting small and adding all the time, but it does help when you're unsure of where price can potentially go. In this case, I was still 50-50 thinking whether it was going to come back down or retrace back up, being that the week has been
Order
positive.
filled.
So it starts to push down very aggressively, and
Order
so I start
filled.
to add. And now I'm in with 3 contracts. I'm going to add another one here. If it continues
Order
to show
filled.
selling. Okay, so I added another one. So now we're in with 4. And we're looking for that bottom low there. So it's a couple of things that I could have done better in this trade. And so as I move my take profit, I'm moving it because the liquidity that I'm seeing is at 900, not at 950, not at the low. It's at 900. So I'm trying to see if I can target that liquidity at 900 as it goes down. And as I look at price, it starts to get a little scary because it starts to go up really quickly. And that's the thing about these tick charts, is that it gives you fast movement and it could psych you out very quickly. See, like it starts to go up, you start to see another candle here, and it starts to come back down. So again, this is the 500. This is the 2000 tick chart that I'm using on this one. So we'll see. Normally I use the 500 tick chart, so but this one I was using the 2000 tick chart to try to get a little bit more than just a quick movement down, get better volume nodes. So as it starts to move down, I start to consider moving this to break even here, and if it just takes me out, calling it a day here, we'll see what happens. As I consider this, ponder it inside my head, we'll see what happens. So it just took out that low there. You see how it took out that low. That low is it didn't break through it. It sort of just tapped it, starting going back up. Indecisiveness here. There were a couple of buyers there that were aggressive, but now as I start to see price go down faster, I start to consider, okay, let me go ahead and go back down a little bit above the 900 mark, but let me trail aggressively. So I'm going to start trailing aggressively here right above the last candle. And unfortunately, yes, it took me out. And so now I'm went from minus $900 to minus 106.44 cents. And at this point, none of the trades, the original trades that I had planned, worked out. Again, the plan was to either take the mean reversions as it went down for a small retracement and then go back up to the mean, to the VWAP. Those didn't work, and so the strong selling initiative after the first couple of tries was showing that selling was continuing. And so as it keeps going down here in this last couple of minutes of this video, it definitely goes to where I thought it was going to go. So let me just speed it up so you can see. So it's going to come back down. It's going to take out that low, and it's going to start getting very aggressive here. So it starts getting aggressive, and it goes to the 9,000, to the 900s, where that liquidity was resting at. Okay, so this is the day as it progressed for me again. So mean reversion trade. The first mean reversion trade that I took was this one here at 521 cluster. 521. Immediately did not take it right when it signaled this, but it did go down a little further. And then I saw this green candle here pop up. I thought that was the opportunity to get in. So I got in at that, put my stop below the low, trying to target the mean, the VWAP, see if it would go back up see if it was going to go back up even higher. But as you can see, that wasn't the case. But this is pretty large, so something that I'm going to keep in mind for the next time I trade this for tomorrow would be looking at the size of the cluster and waiting to see if it comes back down, maybe putting an order below the cluster to see if it continues. If not, if it continues back against the last volume node here. So this is I would consider this a volume node, just because there's two overlapping candles here. Or I guess some people could consider it an order block, but this is a high volume node for me. And so as it goes down, it'll come down here, and then it'll make another high volume node or order block, and it'll continue. So I didn't take this one here to see a big trade of 40, but I took this one here, which says 651. Try to take that to revert to the mean. That would have been a good risk to reward if it did go up. I took it as it kept going up here. I saw these green little big trades pop up. Took the trade, put the stop below the low, and obviously it did not work out. It just kept coming down. So took that a few times, and as you can see, trades kept coming down. Now this trade here is the one that ended up working out for me. The first one at 128. Here, this is the one that ended up working out, going up, that we trailed, and it ended up going. So that was one of the ones that worked out, reduced my risk. And then this one here as well, or I think it was this one. This is the trade that ended up working out, going back to the mean. So this is the trade that I took, and it ended up working out well. This other one is the one that failed. As you can see, there was really nothing telling me, nothing additional here to take a reversion, other than the 50 big trades and then just starts to go back up. The only thing I did see was it was 1K, 2K volume. So looking at those, and then as the time progressed and we waited a little bit longer, those VWAP trades that I took, it was this right here. So I started to see this come up. It failed. Now this right here, you could consider this a high volume area as well. There was a lot of trading activity here, and so price got pushed down. Get 304, took that trade, came down, and so it kept coming down this direction. Again, it did take me out, and so then again, as we waited for that second push here, this right here, the 500, is where we got in again. So these are the things that I was looking at, and that's how I was basing my decision on what to take. The 304, 652, 420, and then the 500 here. As far as trades, people selling, that's what I was looking at. Again, above the VWAP, came back down. If I would have waited a little bit longer, I probably could have recovered that last $100. But it's better to be safe and trade for tomorrow, since no setups had occurred during the normal time that I trade. Normally, I trade the first 30 minutes to the first hour of trading, and then that's it. Normally, I don't trade anything after that. Now, there wasn't anything crazy going on today, like any news or anything like that, so I was expecting it to be a pretty decent day. So there's always tomorrow. So that was my trading day for today. If you like this kind of content, please like, subscribe, and share. It really helps the channel out. And we'll see you in the next one.